All right, we're live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 5 more minutes. That's not how I do this. It's 7:49 a.m. on Sunday, April 21st, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up here in South Korea. This is 5 more minutes, and I am just all over the place today. Today is Sunday, which means that I'm continuing my rewatch of Gravity Falls with Season 2, Episode 1. Halfway through. And this is a very satisfying episode, I think. Coming back from the heights of the Season 1 finale, Pine's family has recovered the Mystery Shack, but we left off with Stan having now achieved all 3 journals, confirming to us that, as we suspected from the very beginning, that first episode where we saw him go into that cellar, that he knows something about what's going on. And we get a bit more into that, but we still don't really know what that big machine is for. We see him scanning something with it. It's obvious that it's going to take a long time, but he's clearly using this big machine to look for something. And one fun little detail that would be easy to miss if you're not paying careful attention is that at one point Stan goes to put on some rubber gloves, and we see that the glove has 6 fingers. So there's an extra sort of flopping finger on Stan's hand. And we could note that it seems unlikely, or rather, if he wanted regular gloves, he could probably get some. Why would anyone make a special 6-fingered glove if they did not, in fact, need it? So perhaps these gloves were once belonging to someone else, maybe? And then, of course, we can recall that the hand on the cover of the journals has 6 fingers. But this episode, I think it feels like it's floundering around a little bit in the early going, what with this idea that we show that Stan says a few things about his machine that are unclear, like no one's going to catch me, that sort of thing. So we wonder what his motives are, other than looking for something. What is he looking for? What for? But of course it attracts the attention of the federal government, and they say, Stan says, this is my greatest achievement after 30 years. And then, of course, the government agents say, we haven't seen readings like this for 30 years. Clues to the mystery. Of course, if we're rewatching like I am, you know the answers, but it's fun watching the mysteries develop. And it's definitely something that fuels the forward momentum of the show in general. And so we see at the beginning just that Stan is still working with this machine, and that it's an ongoing thing. The scan is going to be continuing for a while. We watch this counter, and after a few seconds it goes from 0% to 0.000000001%. Yeah, it's going to take a while. So, but that nicely sets up sort of a background activity for the episode. But it's also what leads the federal agents to come into Gravity Falls. And at first, they're looking for something serious, right? And Stan is, Dipper is excited because he's been looking for someone to believe him about these mysteries all along. But Stan chases the agents away with this, just saying, oh, it's all hokum, it's just the standard small town mystery shack nonsense. And Dipper is increasingly frustrated that, not only did Stan take the journal, but he just keeps shutting down all of this, refuses to believe what seems to be obvious. And that's, the underlying tension that gets resolved and then twisted in this, where by the end, Stan has revealed to Dipper and Mabel that, of course he knows that the town is weird. He's been lying about it to try to keep Dipper and Mabel away from the weirdness because it's dangerous. And we've certainly seen that, to be true. And yet, this moment of dropping the lie and being more honest with each other, things are not resolved because Stan makes Dipper promise, you can have the journal back, but use it only for self-defense. Don't go looking for trouble. And Dipper says, okay, but only if you don't have any more secrets. And they're both lying. They both cross their fingers. And it's so sad. It's like, no. Oh, well, we have a whole nother season of a TV show that we have to get through before they can resolve. But so other than the fact that one of the federal agents is voiced by Nick Offerman, who's great, and the fact that there's I don't know that the whole idea that that agent has a medical condition where he's physically unable to experience humor, I'm not sure that lands. It's a weird idea, but just to support the idea that he's a very no-nonsense sort of guy seems weird. Agent Trigger, who just repeats the last word of everything the guy says, for the most part, it's like, we're here in Gravity Falls to investigate some suspicious activity. And then the other guy is like, activity. That's funny. But that stuff seems like it's a little bit there's not a lot of tension there. I don't think we are really led to believe how serious it could be that the agents are involved. And certainly Dipper is welcoming their presence. But we see once Dipper's desperation to impress those agents leads to raising the dead, that's where we get the good stuff of the episode, the real meat. Just the idea of using zombies is fun. The zombies are, for a kids show, fairly well executed and scary in the sense of just showing that any individual one, not that serious necessarily, but it's the crowds of them that is what makes it serious. And then of course, the business with having Seuss get zombified and just the whole idea of I know exactly what to do to avoid getting bitten. Chomp. And then having him be the one that's able to talk and have him just the Seuss's version of the zombie thing is I want to come over and eat your brains. Would you be cool with that? Yay or nay? I'm seeing some yay faces. That stuff's fun. And then of course we just get some good action sequence, and it is so satisfying when Stan finally, we've seen him be tough when he really needs to be, for example, with the pterodactyl. But seeing him really, leap into Dipper and Mabel's defense, fighting off the zombies, is pretty satisfying. And then, of course, I think that the final sequence where this running gag of Mabel and her karaoke machine, the party she wanted to have, and this idea she had of having all of the family do a song together, that's been running through, and it's silly, and we kind of guess it's okay, well, that's going to happen by the end of the episode, right? Because it's why we want to see that. And then having that sequence be how they defeat the zombies, it's such a silly idea. We learn, oh, look, UV light reveals previously unseen details in the journal. That's good. But learning that zombies are defeated by three-part harmony is very silly. And yet, the sequence where they sing the song to defeat the zombies feels so good. They've got an excellent take on, oh, shoot. I'm blanking on the name of the song. But it's clearly, so in the show, the song was called taking over midnight, and it's so obviously meant to evoke all of those classic karaoke epics, like the one where I can't think. I'm kicking myself that I can't think of the actual song, but it's the one, street light, people in the night. The one. Anyway, that song. Anyway, the song is great, and having them finally kind of get together and start enjoying it when it's working, it's fun, and it really emphasizes Mabel's whole thing about karaoke isn't about sounding good, it's about sounding bad together. And so I feel like this episode, even though it's a little wobbly in the early goings, having the family come together a little bit in having Stan now admitted that he knows some of this mystery makes him less of a pseudo-antagonist for Dipper and Mabel and more of an ally, except that they're still lying to each other. And that sets up that plus what is this mysterious thing that Stan is scanning for? Sets up tension as we progress into the season. And of course, we also have the agents at the end, now having fought actual zombies. They're saying, oh, this is really serious now. We're going to have to bring in the big guns. Ooh. My air conditioner just turned on. Anyway, so I think that does it for this episode. So I hope that you enjoyed your rewatch, if you're rewatching it with me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed me listening to it and enthusing about Scary-oke. And in the meantime, so just as a heads up, on my Twitch channel, we're going to be playing This Space for Rent in a little bit. I think, let's see, what time will it be? I believe 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be playing This Space for Rent. That's the Space KCRPG. And then later in this evening, we're going to be recording Beyond the Wall live on YouTube. So keep an eye out for both of those things. And in the meantime, I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.